Ryan and his friends wanted to go find a flower to sip nectar for breakfast. So they diligently crawled over the twisted tree roots and through layers of bushes to forage for food. When they passed by a tall oak tree, they saw a beautiful orchid blooming under the tree. The flower was big and vibrantly colored, emitting a rich floral fragrance. Everyone exclaimed, "This flower is so beautiful." Dewdrops glistened on the soft orchid petals. Ryan was the first to say, "We should enjoy this lovely orchid well." Then he eagerly crawled toward the orchid, with the other companions scrambling to follow. On the other hand, there were also two moth caterpillars in the forest, Luna and her companion. They were on a different adventure that morning, but as they crawled over fallen branches to chew on leaves, Luna said, There's nothing fun here, so boring. Let's go find that big oak tree we discovered last time." Turns out they enjoyed climbing the twisted oak tree and playing hide-and-seek in its thick foliage. So Luna crawled out from the shade of the trees. As she crawled along, she suddenly stopped. Her antennae sensed the sweet floral fragrance in the air, and her eyes were drawn to the vibrant orchid petals. The pink orchid petals gradually turned ruby red at the tips, and tiny dewdrops sparkled like diamonds on the fuzzy flower surface. Luna had never imagined such an incredible blossom could exist in the forest. She couldn't help but exclaim, "It's so beautiful." When she saw this delicious food, her whole body trembled slightly. Soon all the other caterpillars had gathered around too, utterly captivated by the same orchid's alluring colors and sweet scent. Just as everyone prepared to crawl onto the deep red petals, Ryan at the very front shouted, wait a minute." The famished caterpillars all turned their heads to stare at him. Ryan said uneasily, "Maybe we should set some rules on how to share this special flower." Seeing everyone's eagerness to get on the orchid, Ryan felt a little worried inside. Since Ryan was a butterfly caterpillar, different from Luna the moth caterpillar, Luna reacted very intuitively with annoyance. She said, "Set rules. We can all see the flower." The other caterpillars also murmured in confusion, waving their antennae impatiently. Ryan went on, "There's 3 of us and 2 of you. If we can agree on this, then we'll all be able to eat happily. Otherwise, if we have to fight for it, it's inevitable that someone eats too much while someone goes hungry." He could feel the others' intense craving, so he hoped to quickly reach an agreement with the moths to prevent everyone from letting greed overcome friendship in temptation for the delicacy. Luna thought Ryan had a point, so she went to discuss with him and his friends on how to divide up the orchid. After both sides finished discussing, Luna returned to her companion with the outcome, but her companion said the allocation was too little. She insisted on having half the flower each side, and told Luna to go back to ask for more from Ryan. But Ryan and his friends said, "There are 3 of us and only 2 of you, and we already agreed earlier, you can't go back on it now." So both the butterflies and moths started bickering non-stop. Ryan saw his earlier worries actually coming true. Such a wondrous delicacy aroused selfish greed instead. He was getting a little anxious. His friends said maybe we should just act on our own. Their front legs were already impatiently crawling onto the striking red orchid petals. As the caterpillars crept closer around the opulent prize, the friendship between the butterflies and moths was fracturing bit by bit. At this time Luna said, "Wait. Why don't we just gather under the orchid and discuss it together, all 5 of us? So they had no choice but to come forward together to decide on dividing up the orchid. But as more caterpillars gathered, everyone wanted the biggest share. They each had their own opinion, and their voices grew louder and more heated. In the forest there was a ferocious white-tailed sea eagle. It was nearby looking for caterpillars to eat, taking a brief rest on a tree. From afar it spotted the 5 caterpillars coming over from elsewhere. When they first split into 2 groups, it had been secretly hiding in the tree considering whether to go after the butterflies or the moths. But now with all of them together arguing loudly, the vicious eagle laughed with delight. It swiftly beat its mighty wings and swooped toward the caterpillars. A gust of wind kicked up sand and pebbles on the ground. The toppling caterpillars originally thought a tornado was upon them. But suddenly their bodies lifted from the earth altogether. Just moments ago they were fighting over who could get more flower petals, and now they had all been snatched up by the eagle in one go. Alright, kids, today's story ends here. See you next time.